So it's time for another cruise flashback.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we're going to tell you about our Norwegian cruise on the Norwegian Jewel, a 7-night Alaskan cruise.
Wow.
Yes. So it was a cruise of the Inside Passage on the Norwegian Jewel, and let's tell them all about it.
Let's go.
Yes. So to get there, we actually took the Amtrak train. We took a train all the way from Minnesota to Seattle to take that cruise. We're not going to spend time talking about that here, but if you're interested in hearing about what it's like to travel overnight for a couple nights on an Amtrak train, comment below and maybe we'll do a video about that in the future. But this video is about our cruise.
Yeah.
So do you remember where we started?
Seattle, Washington.
That's right. We got on the ship in Seattle, and we stayed the night before with some of my family, which kind of nice to have along my mom and her friend Terry, and my brother Aaron and his now wife Angie. So that made it kind of special. We all stayed at the Marriott across the street from the cruise port.
So we could see the ship.
We saw the ship when we opened the curtains in the morning.
Yeah.
And it was really easy to just cross the street, just a couple blocks walk, because it was practically just right outside our window.
Right.
And the Marriott cruise porter even offered to help us with our luggage. So he carted the luggage over there as we walked over and made it really easy to board.
Yeah.
Yes.
Very smooth.
So there's a tip for you if you're cruising out of Seattle, and that Marriott is very handy to the Norwegian cruise port. Let's go ahead and tell them a little bit about the ship.
Okay.
So the ship is, by today's standards, a little smaller, a medium to smaller size. It's carries a little over 2,000 passengers, and it's a little under 100,000 tons. So it's compared to the ships these days that are well over 200,000 tons. It's on the smaller side.
It doesn't feel small at all, though.
Yeah, we think of it as a medium-sized ship, and actually I think of the ships we've been on, it's size-wise, it was about perfect for us.
Yeah.
So we really like that. It had a lot of offerings as far as venues go for bars, restaurants, places to go to be entertained, and just nice public areas. So I thought all that was really good.
Right, a lot of music areas where you could sit and listen to music, which we really like.
Yep. It didn't have a whole lot in the way of shopping. I think it had one main store, and it had a couple stands.
Yeah,
and
that's true.
Some of the other bigger ships you're going to have a lot more shopping, but everything else it had plenty of it. It had 2 main dining rooms, and it had a whole bunch of specialty options. So let's go ahead and talk about the dining options. I know since we're kind of talking about that already, the main dining rooms, there's 2 of them. Czars and the Azur, I think was the name of the other one. You didn't experience them quite as much as I did, or at least you don't remember as much. I thought it was really good. The food was good, a very traditional MDR, but it's freestyle sailing on Norwegian, so you could go when you want. And I found it really enjoyable. I thought the food was very good. Actually, among the 4 cruise lines we've been on, Carnival, Royal Caribbean, Disney, and Norwegian, I think their MDR food, as far as what we've tried, has been the best. So I really liked that. And I thought the service was really good. So the specialty restaurants, though, was really what we enjoyed.
Oh, my goodness. They were amazing.
Which was your favorite specialty restaurant?
Oh, my goodness. Oh, of course, Le Bistro, the French one.
Because they have what?
The chocolate fondue, fruit fondue.
Fruit fondue
it's so
dessert.
Yummy.
Yes.
Highly recommend it.
They had a lot of good food at Le Bistro. A French restaurant wasn't something I would have gone out looking for when I'm on a cruise, but they have it, and it's very good. They also had that little appetizer that came with the little waffle cones, little ice cream cones, which had different, like tuna in one, and different things. That was really interesting. So very innovative.
I remember that.
My favorite was probably Cagney's.
Oh, yeah,
they
the
had
steakhouse.
Awesome steaks. Best ribeye I've ever had.
They were incredible.
Yes. And
they were huge steaks.
Yes, they were. And they also, on that ship, like most of the Norwegian ships, have Moderno, I can't say the second Brazilian steak place. Yes.
Steak place, yeah.
Yes, Moderno.
That was really lots of fun if you go in a group like we did, and it's a kind of a fun experience,
Well, describe it. I mean, tell them about the salad bar first. I know that was when you...
Oh, the salad bar. If I could, I would just had the salad bar. But
it had a lot of variety, right?
It had a lot of variety. It had salads, all different types of salads and vegetables and sides.
But it also had some meats and cheeses.
It had like a charcuterie plate. There was like tons of meat and cheese.
And that was our favorite thing. But the main event is them coming around your table. What's the deal with that?
So they give you a card. It's red for
Stop.
red for go, and it was the opposite. Red
no.
for stop, green for go. Yes.
Green, bring me more food. Red, stop, I don't want any more.
Right.
So I had mine on green most of the time, and they bring around like skewers of meat. And they have beef, like steak, and they'd have sausages. They had chicken. They had all kinds of different meat.
They had like swords of meat.
Yes.
So they would just shave it off.
That's what I just said.
Well.
Okay, you said it better. Okay, so Moderno, very interesting. I think we spent a lot of time on that one. So that's a very good one too. Now,
it's a lot of fun.
There's one specialty restaurant that we haven't mentioned that we actually went to twice. It's the only one we went to twice.
Oh, La Cucina.
La Cucina.
The Italian. Oh.
Yes, she loves the Italian food.
That was so good.
Italian's not my first choice usually, but I really enjoyed La Cucina, and we went there twice, like we said, and very good, nice garlic bread.
First time with our group, and then the second time as our date
As a date night, yes.
It was so great.
And they had really good pastas and lots of good traditional food.
And awesome tiramisu. I really like their tiramisu.
Yes. So that's a lot of information about the food. So also we should mention the bars. They have bars all over the ship, and if you sail on Norwegian, a lot of times they have a special deal where you can get an open bar as a bonus for your cruising. And we did that, and we didn't take advantage of it as much as I thought we would towards the end of the cruise. But at the beginning of the cruise, we went kind of crazy. It was a lot of fun.
I found my favorite drink.
Yes.
The Mango Meltdown.
I knew that was coming. Yes, the Mango Meltdown is a frozen drink that's got mango and some other kind of berry in there. It's kind of got a little color. But
a strawberry, I think.
Yeah.
And it's like a huge slushy machine.
But it's got alcohol in it.
It's a slushy, and it's so delicious. And I would have that as soon as I woke up.
Yep.
And before I went to bed.
Yep. And so the Mango Meltdown, that's one we recommend. But they have all kinds of good frozen drinks and all kinds of traditional drinks. Obviously, they have beers, and they have non-alcoholic drinks too. But it's really fun how they have the different themed bars around the cruise ship, out on the open and in the inside areas as well. So we really enjoyed that.
That was when I first started my game of trying to get a drink at every bar.
That was me.
Oh.
You were trying to get a drink at every bar?
Yeah.
You're a lightweight. You'd start at one bar and you'd be finished.
Yeah.
All right. Well, yeah.
Maybe 3.
Yes.
I'd get up
my brother and I think, succeeded in getting a drink at every bar. I don't know if everybody else in our group did, but that was a lot of fun. So anyway, great bars. Entertainment. The entertainment was awesome too.
It's incredible.
Yeah, the shows. There was one show in particular that had an aerobatic group, and I didn't know that I would enjoy that as much, but it was very impressive. Great music. The Norwegian Jewel, and I'd say Norwegian cruises in general are very impressive.
Yes.
There's one other food thing I think we should mention, because we've mentioned that on other videos where we've compared different cruises and different cruise lines as one of our very favorite experiences, and that was the Sushi Bar.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Norwegian Jewel had a very good sushi bar with sushi chefs working there and preparing it as you order.
They were beautifully presented. Mm-hmm. You could get a boat. Was that the one that had a boat?
I think so. We didn't order that, but we didn't even finish the 4 rolls I think we got. So it was a lot of food, just like any cruise.
It was amazing.
Yeah. So enough about food. We talk about food enough on our videos. Let's talk about the cabin. So this was the only cruise we've ever done where we've gotten an inside cabin. And our thinking on that was because we were sailing with several people that we probably wouldn't be in our rooms that much. But
we were not.
We did miss having a balcony. It would have been nice to have a balcony, but we saved a lot of money by having an inside cabin. Just so you know, on Norwegian Jewel, at least the inside cabin we had was very small. So I think just getting around the bed, the corners of the bed, because we had to configure it as a king-size bed, it was a little tight. So there wasn't a lot of extra room. There wasn't like a chair or a couch of any significance where you could sit down. And when you did try to sit in the bed to watch the little TV they have in there, or just to relax, you had a light that was affixed on the wall, on the headboard behind you. It was kind of awkward. So if you do get an inside cabin on the Norwegian Jewel, you might want to configure it as 2 twins rather than a king. because
Yeah.
it gives a better use of the room, and also it makes it a little easier for you to sit up in your bed. But that was the only thing we ran into with it. It was nice having it dark at night.
Oh my goodness. If you worry about too much light coming in or from the windows or doors, inside room, pitch black.
That's the way to go. But
And we had to we brought these little tea light candles.
oh yeah,
And
little
they
battery
weren't really,
operated.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Good thing we did, because in the middle of the night when nature calls, it's a good thing to have a light.
That's good to have a little light. So yeah, so that's enough about the inside cabin. That's kind of some of the basics about the ship. It was really easy to get around that ship. We really liked that. But let's talk about going to the actual ports. Oh, we forgot one of the most important things for food. I gotta go back to food. We didn't even mention O'Shea's.
Oh yeah, your favorite breakfast area with the
Yes,
potatoes.
O'Shea's. On some of the newer ships, it's called the local. It's a complimentary. It's included in the price of fare. You can get snacks and all meals you can get there, and that's the place to go for breakfast when you're on a Norwegian
Yep, on
cruise.
a Norwegian,
Oh.
go to Oceans.
Yes, get past the craziness of the buffet and go straight to O'Shea's, and you can. I think they had a little mini buffet set up in there if you really want to do that experience. But you can order just like you're in a regular restaurant, breakfast, lunch, dinner, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You can also, it's not just breakfast food. You can get nachos or wings or whatever during the day.
And they're
stuff.
open 24/7.
That's right. So O'Shea's. Oh wow, we forgot that. I can't believe it. That's my favorite.
Yep.
Wow, a lot of options on it. See, for a small ship, it's got a lot of
has
options and so much to
incredibly
offer. Yes.
Options.
So let's try to get off the ship at one of these ports and talk about that. Do you remember what our first port was?
No.
Okay, it was Ketchikan.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Ketchikan.
Yes, and Ketchikan, we took an excursion and we went to see how they make.
Totem poles.
That's right. And so that was really interesting. There's, several different options you can do in Ketchikan. It's a pretty common port for these inside passage cruises of Alaska. But it's also a port, I think, if we were to return there, which hopefully we will do someday, probably we just go off on our own, explore the shops, and go to I think it was Annabelle's.
Right.
Annabelle's and get the clam. Annabelle's Clam House, I think, is what it's called. I'm
Right.
probably getting that not quite right.
We did a classic first time mistake of overscheduling ourselves on excursions.
Yeah. So
But Ketchikan was
don't do
really
that.
nice.
Ketchikan was good,
Yep.
and I think Annabelle's Chowder House is the name of the restaurant we went and had lunch at, and I highly recommend that.
Oh,
So
I
that
don't
was
remember
Ketchikan.
Is that where I got the French fries?
That's where-
And I shared the broccoli with you. No.
Maybe, I don't know. I remember you pulling your hoodie over your head at Annabelle's because you were cold in the restaurant.
Oh yeah.
That's what I remember from there. I'll have to try to put that picture up here so you guys can see that. I think I've posted that before. So the next day we were in a new port, and that was Juneau,
Juneau.
the capital of Alaska.
Yes.
And there we had what I think was our favorite excursion,
Yes.
and that was what?
It was the whale watching. So
Yes.
that was the best time. I was amazed at all the animals we saw. We saw sea lions, we saw birds, we saw whales.
Whales, yes. I was wondering if you can get to the whales. Yes. So we saw a bunch of humpback whales, and some of them breached the water. So we had to see them jump out of the water. I guess it's called breaching.
Yeah.
So that was pretty cool.
And we came at a good time of the year where it
Which
wasn't
was
raining.
May.
Yep,
We came in
which
May,
was
so
May.
it's early in the season.
And it wasn't raining, so that was really nice.
Okay. So we recommend the whale watching. That's something good to
Definitely
check
2
out in
thumbs
Juneau.
up.
That's really all we did in Juneau, because that took a fair amount of time taking the bus to get to the boat where the excursion was, but it was well worth it.
Yeah.
So, although that was my favorite excursion in Alaska, I'm going to tell you in a minute about our favorite or my favorite port. I'll let you answer for yourself.
Okay.
But before we talk about the third port we went to, we got to mention that later when we got on the ship in Juneau, we had a very special experience, and that was the ship sailing into Glacier Bay.
Yes.
And that's where the ship very slowly went in and sailed around some glaciers there, and so we were able to see them up close, since we saw pieces of the
Pieces of
permafrost,
ice floating.
the ice floating in the water like little
cool.
icebergs.
Yeah, little ice islands. They're so cool.
Yep, and this is a great opportunity to head back up to that bar that overlooks the pool area there, and gives you a great view of the water and the glaciers as you're sailing through there. So I recommend going to an area like that where you get a good view.
Which port was the train?
Well, spoiler alert, that's coming up next.
Oh, sorry.
That was the next day. That was my favorite port.
Oh, okay.
This is somewhere that my brother Aaron had told me about because he had been up there to do some work before. And Skagway. Skagway ended up being my favorite port. And from what he told me ahead of time, I'm not surprised that it was. Skagway is a really cool little town that I don't know if you can find anything else quite like it anywhere. It's got lots of cool touristy shops and stuff like that, but a lot of it feels very authentic. And one thing they have there is the sidewalks are wood planks.
Yeah.
So it's almost like an old West town where you're walking on sidewalks made out of wood. Yeah. So it's got a really authentic feel to it. Obviously, I don't think most of that would exist if it wasn't for the cruise ships and other tourists coming in to visit. But Skagway was very cool. There we took the White Pass Railway.
That was a lot of fun.
Yep.
The scenery was incredible. Alaska is so gorgeous and beautiful. If you have a chance, definitely make a trip to Alaska on a cruise. That's the way to go, I believe.
That's right. Well, and if you're watching this video, maybe you're thinking about it, so we recommend it. Also, after we went on the train, that was a lot of fun, but coming back afterwards, we had a little more time to kill. So besides little shopping, little souvenir shopping, we stopped at, I think it was called Skagway Brewing, and that was a little brew pub. And that was a really nice experience to sit there and enjoy some of their unique local brews. Mm-hmm. And before we reboarded the ship. So after that, we only had one port left, and by then, towards the end of our 7-day cruise, quite frankly, we were exhausted. We had, like Joy said, we had overbooked ourselves. So Joy and myself, although the other people in our party got off the ship, we decided to stay on board. So we didn't really experience Victoria. We talked about going to Bouchard Gardens. I think that's what it's called, Bouchard Gardens. But yeah, from what we heard from people that came back, it was a very, very nice town. But I think towards the end of the cruise, they just weren't really feeling like getting off. So keep in mind, you don't have to get off in every port. Did you mention your favorite port?
Well, my favorite port, I guess, would be Juneau.
Juneau?
The whale watching.
Just because there was whale watching. Okay.
Yeah. Okay,
well, so now we're talking about favorites. Before we wrap up, let's mention a couple other favorites. My favorite restaurant would have to be, I'm gonna cheat. I'm gonna say Oceans for non-specialty, non-extra charge is my favorite over the MDR, although I think their MDRs are the best of the ones I've experienced on any cruise ships. I really liked Oceans as an option. It's so flexible. And for specialty, I got to go with Cagney's.
Okay.
How about you?
So my favorite restaurant would be the French restaurant. I'm blanking on the name.
La Bistro.
La Bistro, because it had that chocolate fondue.
Yes.
Fruit dish that I really love. And I can't get enough of it for some reason.
Okay.
And I would guess my favorite meal would be La Cucina, the Italian.
Okay. We each did a totally different thing there for our favorites, but hey, that gives you some ideas of some of the best foods you can get on there. Hopefully this has given you a good idea and some more information about what a cruise on the Norwegian Jewel is like. We share cruise tips and fun information every week. Subscribe now so you don't miss out on any of that. It's time for your chance to enter our giveaway for $100 towards your next Carnival cruise. So we're mixing it up here now. Going over to Carnival. All you have to do to answer this trivia question. Where did Pub 687 on the Disney Dream get its name?
Oh, I do know this one.
Yeah, okay. Well, let's give them the choices. Don't give it away now. What are the options?
Your choices are A, from the street address of Disneyland, B, from the Disney Dreams hall number, or C, from the number of crew on board.
email your answer along with your name. So we want to have your name so we can announce it when you win.
Yes.
And send that to info@cruisedayfun.com. The deadline is going to be midnight on June 1st, basically the end of the day on May 31st.
Thanks for joining the Cruise Day Fun. Bye.